There are worse things in life than flooded basements and cold showers, but most of us, myself included, want to avoid those things at all costs. So we're going to talk about what causes water heaters to fail, more importantly, how to prevent that failure, and even though we can't always prevent the failure, how to predict when our water heater is going to fail to prevent those cold showers and even worse, a flooded house. What we have here is a run-of-the-mill gas-fired water heater. We're going to be focusing on gas-fired. This one happens to be natural gas, but propane is the same units. Electric are the same basics, but they've got little different failure mechanisms. This unit is comprised basically of a tank. We can't directly see the tank. It's covered in insulation and then cladding over the insulation to protect the insulation. We've got a gas control valve here, ignition system built into one piece down in the bottom. On the bottom, we can't see it. It's shrouded. Again, great visibility to it. Is a burner assembly on the bottom. So our fuel goes into the bottom, sucks in air, and puts a flame on the bottom of our tank and heats from the bottom up. Then off the top, we've got our exhaust. So you can either have a free vent, basically, that goes straight up out your house. The exhaust gases rise because they're hot. This one has a powered vent where it forces the gas out. Our powered vent system, our ignition gas valve assembly can fail on these units. But normally what takes these things out is failure of the tank. So we happen to have a water softener right next to our hot water heater, and this gives us a clue to what we're going to talk about next is the main source of failure for these water heaters and how to prevent failure of that. And that is to provide the best water possible. So hardness and water has an interesting relationship. When we heat up water, the hardness, so the calcium, the minerals in the water become less soluble, so they come out of solution and they settle down in the bottom of our hot water tank. That then creates a layer of insulation. Those minerals are excellent insulators, and so we have our flame on the bottom of our tank trying to heat the water, but now we've got this mineral buildup that's preventing that heat transfer from occurring. And our burner has to stay on longer, and it basically heats up, provides excessive heat to the bottom of our tank that's steel. This excessive heat degrades the steel and promotes corrosion. And so what ends up happening is the bottom of our tank fails. So this normally gives us a warning sign. It starts as a drip. It will give you colder water. So basically you've got water dripping down on the flame assembly, cooling it off so you're not going to get as hot of water. In addition to our mineral creating a insulation barrier to prevent the heat transfer. That's another addition, and it greatly reduces the efficiency of the unit, obviously, so you're going to be burning more gas. But that's hard to tell on our monthly bill. So to prevent failure of these, the best thing you can do is install a water softener, provide the cleanest water possible to this unit. All of these also have a drain at the bottom for when you're switching it out. Obviously, you want to drain the water so it's lighter. The other thing, if you do this once a year, flush the unit, you can get some of that mineral off of the bottom. But the other thing that mineral does is it wants to stick to surfaces. So even doing that, it is not going to prevent failure. You'll prolong it a little bit. But if you're providing hard water to your water softener, those minerals are definitely going to stick to the bottom, and you're not going to get them all out through flushing. Even if we provide softened water to our units, they do still fail. The typical lifespan of a gas-fired water heater is about 10 years. And there's some things we can look at to see when we get around that 10-year mark, if we can eke a few more years out of it, if we're providing high-quality water, or if we should replace it before we get into a catastrophic situation. The first thing you want to do is look around the water heater for any signs of leak on the floor. If you see any of that, that's an immediate red flag. It's time to replace your water heater. If it passes that test, we need to take a look at sort of the business end of the water heater underneath. Unfortunately, the design of most of these does not make that easy. We need to take a look at the underside of the tank and the burner assembly for signs of corrosion and leaking. Most of them have an access panel here that's easy to remove, but all the newer units are sealed to prevent explosion. So we have to turn our hot water heater off and remove this access panel so we can get a visual look at the underside of the workings. Now with this panel removed, we can take a flashlight and get a visual of what's going on down here. If we take a look down in here, we're seeing the bottom of our tank up here. What we're looking for is any signs of corrosion, cracking, or leaking. Now off to the side here on this seam, it looks like there's some signs of dripping that has occurred over time, so maybe leaking. There doesn't look to be anything active right now, wet spots. So this corrosion like this could be caused from the moisture product of combustion condensing on there and then dripping down the side, but it is a little bit suspicious. The top here looks pretty good. And in the middle here is our burner assembly. That looks in good condition. There's no major signs of corrosion that would indicate water from above is going on the burner. And the floor of our housing here is something that can get plugged up and could be cleaned. We see corrosion product that's basically fallen down onto that. After you perform your inspection, don't forget to put this cover back on. I know the history of this water heater. It's been in operation 9 years now. The first 4 years of its life, it was not getting softened water, so it's probably getting close to end of life. The inspection underneath of it showed some concerning signs that I'm going to monitor. The best case scenario, nothing was wet, but probably once a month I should take a look under there and see if there's any changes to that, additional corrosion, signs of leaks. The other thing I'm going to do is start shopping. So I'm going to look for sales, water heaters, and start thinking, do I want to replace this in kind or upgrade to a larger unit, maybe on demand? There are some interesting heat pump style electric water heaters that can boost efficiency. Generally, gas is your cheapest mode of operation, but that is shifting a little bit with the heat pump electric water heaters, so we'll see if I can find a decent value on one of those. Armed with this knowledge and performing a few of these easy inspections will prevent catastrophic failure of your water heater, and you can replace it in time before you've got a flooded house or cold showers that you have to deal with. If you found any value in this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the thumbs up button on the video. Thanks for watching. Adios.